7 reasons you could have been arrested for witchcraft in the early modern period in England and New England. Here's the Salem Witch-Hunt Daily Report for March 4th, 2024. I'm Josh Hutchinson. March 4th, 1692 was a relatively quiet day in the Salem witch-hunt, so I'm going to talk about the grounds for examination and conviction of a witchcraft suspect. First, I'll read from one of the works that guided New England judges through witchcraft prosecutions, A Discourse of the Damned Art of Witchcraft by Englishman William Perkins, which was published in 1608. Question: How may we be able in these our days to discern and discover a witch? Answer: The discovery of a witch is a matter judicial, as is also the discovery of a thief and a murderer, and belongeth not to every man, but is to be done judicially by the magistrate according to the form and order of law, who therefore is set apart for such ends, and hath authority both to discover and to punish the enemies of God and his church. Now for the magistrate's direction in this business, we are to know that in the discovery of a witch 2 things are required: examination and conviction. Examination is an action of the magistrate, making special inquiry of the crime of witchcraft. This action must have the beginning from occasions and presumptions. For the magistrate, though he be a public person and stand in the room of God for the execution of justice, yet he may not take upon him to examine whom and how himself willeth of any crime. Neither ought he to proceed upon slight causes, as to show his authority over others, or upon sinister respects, as to revenge his malice, or to bring parties into danger or suspicion, but he must proceed upon special presumptions. Those I call presumptions, which I do at least probably and conjecturally note one to be a witch, and these are certain signs whereby the party may be discovered. I will touch some few of them. The first in order is this: if any person, man or woman, be notoriously defamed for such a party. Notorious defamation is a common report of the greater sort of people, with whom the party suspected dwelleth, that he or she is a witch. This yielded a strong suspicion. Yet the magistrate must be wary in receiving such a report, for it falls out oftentimes that the innocent may be suspected, and some of the better sort notoriously defamed. Therefore the wise and prudent judge ought carefully to look that the report be made by men of honesty and credit, which if it be, he may then proceed to make further inquiry of the fact. The second is, if a fellow witch or a magician give testimony of any person to be a witch, either voluntarily or at his or her examination, or at his or her death. This is not sufficient for conviction or condemnation, but only a fit presumption to cause straight examination of the party to be made. Thirdly, if after cursing there followeth death, or at least some mischief, for witches are wont to practice their mischievous acts by cursing and banning. This also is a sufficient matter of examination, not of conviction. Fourthly, if after enmity, quarreling, or threatening, a present mischief doth follow. For parties devilishly disposed, after cursings do use threatenings, and that also is a great presumption. Fifthly, if the party suspected be the son or daughter, the manservant or maidservant, the familiar friend, near neighbor, or old companion of a known and convicted witch. This may be likewise a presumption, for witchcraft is an art that may be learned and conveyed from man to man, and often it falleth out that a witch dying leaveth some of this forenamed heirs of her witchcraft. Sixthly, some do add this for a presumption: if the party suspected be found to have the devil's mark. For it is commonly thought, when the devil maketh his covenant with them, he always leaveth his mark behind him, whereby he knows them for his own. Now if by some casual means such a mark be described on the body of the party suspected, whereof no evident reason in nature can be given, the magistrate in this case may cause such to be examined, or to take the matter into his own hand, that the truth may appear. Lastly, if the party examined be unconstant, or contrary to himself in his deliberate answers, it argueth a guilty mind and conscience, which stoppeth the freedom of speech and utterance, and may give just occasion to the magistrate to make further inquiry. I say, nor if he or she be timorous and fearful, for a good man may be fearful in a good cause, sometimes by nature, sometimes in regard of the presence of the judge and the greatness of the audience. Again, some may be suddenly taken, and others naturally want the liberty of speech, which other men have. And these are the causes of fear and astonishment, which may befall the good as well as the bad. And so these are the 7 reasons that you may have been arrested back in the early modern period for witchcraft. Thank you for tuning in today. Be back tomorrow for another episode. Until then, have a great today and a beautiful tomorrow.